Okay, so welcome to today's talk, and I hope you guys are doing well. And I'm going to continue my series on exploring new remedies, and I hope that you're doing well, and also trying to be the best version of yourself. In one of my talks, maybe I spoke about work so hard that people look up to you, and I'm going to recorrect the phrase. I feel that I agree that it's important to work hard and it's important to achieve, but I think it's important to be really contented in life and and the contentment has to come from within and really not dependent on other people's views and perception about you. So this is very important here, that you should be self-contented. There's a kind, you should be able to make peace with yourself, and I think that is the highest level of uh, of evolution, I guess. Too philosophical in the morning, I guess. So let's come back to the remedy. I'm going to talk today about Beryllium metallicum. It's a remedy I think we should know. I think we should know this remedy in today's time. There are many homeopaths in France and French countries who use this remedy. So, beryllium is a remedy which was used by many homeopaths, right from Templeton, who I have great respect for, Stephenson, Hahnemannian Provings, uh, many French authors, Gutman, another British homeopath. So there's a lot of British and French writings based for beryllium metallicum, and I think it's a very important remedy we should know. So we'll try to explore this remedy today. Before we go ahead, I want to talk to you what is very interesting for us to know about beryllium metallicum. Beryllium metallicum is a remedy. There's a lot of tubercular miasm in this remedy, and that's why it's centered around the lung and calcifications. So that's why this will be a very important remedy for tubercular conditions, for cases of sarcoidosis, or for cases of interstitial lung diseases. So when you think about cases of interstitial lung diseases, sarcoidosis, also sometimes cancerous pathology, think about beryllium. Also very important, there's a lot of writings on urinary stone formation. So this is the main genius of beryllium metallicum. I want you to remember this prima facie when you talk about beryllium. So all pathologies around this, and why I say this, because in today's times, post COVID situations where there'll be a lot of lung pathology, this would be a very important remedy, and that's why I want to share with you some ideas about beryllium. And you can see how, what is the kind of end result pathology we are trying to treat in cases of stridulous laryngitis, tubercular laryngitis, papilloma of larynx, pulmonary sarcoidosis, emphysema, pneumoconiosis, pulmonary tuberculosis. This would be important remedy. And what are the cases we are treating? Lot of cases of respiratory painful, aggravated by movement, aggravated by bending backward, spasmodic cough behind the chest. Patient will tell you, I feel kind of cough here, um, and the reports may show hazy diffuse area of the lung, infiltration of micronodules, and hazy opacities. This is typically beryllium. And see how close it is to post COVID lung pathology, and that's why this would be such an important remedy. And that's why I want to share this, and I want you to apply it and learn it at some point. Acute or chronic rhinitis, and it's generally hot patients. Beryllium can be very hot patients as well. A lot of burning and constant desire to swallow is also something you will see. Better by cold, better by fresh air, and aggravated by exercise and warmth. Interesting. Very close to bryonia, and that's why this aggravated by movement, dry, painful cough, and that's why you can see bryonia. Many homeopaths claim to be a very important remedy in today's time, and now you know why beryllium is something very important that I speak about. Let's talk a little bit about beryllium personality. And when we talk about beryllium, it's important to know that beryllium is actually belonging to the mineral kingdom, and you can see this periodic table here in front of you, and you can see the row 1 hydrogen helium, and you can see the row 2, and you can see beryllium is here in column 2 in row 2. So it is just next to lithium. So you can see that They are people who are like lithium, very, very clingy, and it's just above magnesium, so just a little bit irresolute, a little bit indecisive. So they have features of lithium and magnesium, beryllium has, which is very interesting for you to know for now. How do I describe lithium, beryllium personalities? They are people who are very timid, very uncertain, very uncertain. उनको पता नहीं है क्या करना है. They feel very vulnerable, and their constant terminology is I can't do this. मैं ये कर नहीं सकता. Somehow they are not developed. They are not totally developed. They don't have a total set of their own values. They can be very childlike. They can be very childlike. Um, they constantly feel very powerless and childlike, and they are kind of people who feel that what someone else decides for me is good, and that's why very often you'll think they are baraitas, but they are not baraita. Baraita is dumb. Baraita cannot take responsibility, while beryllium is more childlike. They are just like children internally. They are just not developed. They constantly feel that their self-worth is very low and they'll be criticized. They are someone um, they're someone who are very passive and they'll just listen. So this is where they are very close to magnesium. They are very passive, very yielding. They will listen to someone else's wishes, and they will often become they can become a personality who mixes anywhere like water. Huh? They are very superstitious as well. They are very superstitious because they feel that if they don't adapt to every situation, then how will they actually be accepted? They have fear of being on their own. They are very, very clingy people that you will often see. Beryllium metallicum. So interesting, no? Let's talk a little bit from beryllium. Like I told you, can actually cause a disease like sarcoidosis, and that is why Julian has also done a proving on it. And we should also note that beryllium is derived from beryl, which is a precious stone, um, probably named after the town Beryl in Iraq. I already spoke about it's an element. It's from mineral kingdom, and they were used to prepare glasses previously, typically, and nowadays it's been used for manufacturing springs and things like that. So let's talk a little bit more about beryllium metallicum. I told you that they are very uncertain, very yielding type of personalities, very timid, very inferior. They don't know what's right for them. They don't know what should I do this, should I do that. The difference between lithium is that lithium feels very, very helpless and keeps on brooding and crying, oh, I'm alone. The difference between magnesium is that magnesium is a little bit more developed than beryllium, and magnesium is more forsaken, while beryllium just doesn't know what to do. It's somewhere between lithium and beryllium. They are not able to decide things. They are not daring. They are very uncertain. Uncertain is a very important word for beryllium. Uncertain individuals who just feel very, very inferior to people, and that's why they try to find people with whom they can mix up so easily that they will not be seen in the crowd. They are like the best friends of certain important people. Because they are not developed so much, they don't have the power to stand up for their own values, because still for them the values have not been developed. So I spoke a little bit about this. Let me give you some important rubrics of beryllium that you should know. This is a very interesting rubric. Constantly critical of oneself. You can see, because they look down on themselves. Confidence want of, feels he is a failure. Confidence want of, support desire. This is a very interesting rubric. Want support, because they are not confident enough, and like alumina, they just don't know. They're very confused people as well, but more confused. They almost behave like children because they are very childlike, very deserted. They kind of are people who have not developed identity at all. All remedies from root 2 are not developed in the identity, but also they have not been allowed to be themselves somewhere because they try to mix up so much with people. Worthless, constant worthless feeling. This is beryllium. There's a lot of fears of authorities, fear of crowd, because that's where they feel they'll be watched, they'll be observed, they'll be criticized. Fear of freedom. This is very interesting rubric. Fear of freedom, because who is scared of freedom? Because when there is freedom, then you can be yourself, but beryllium can't be themselves. So you have to understand that how it is at a deeper level who they are. Fear of offending, fear of parents, fear of rejection. They are just very undeveloped, uncertain individuals. Irresolution, very irresolute. Stranger presence of aggravate. I think this is obvious. Very bashful, very bashful. A lot of dry, painful cough, asthmatic cough, difficult breathing, aggravated motion like bryonia. Cough so dry they have to remove from inside, and Templeton said dry, painful cough. Allergic cough. So in today's time, this is very important remedy. Beryllium, metallicum. I want you to remember this remedy because I don't think we are knowing this enough. They are better by drinking cold. We should know this, like Drosera, and they're aggravated by too much of food. They can be feeling a kind of nausea. So beryllium, metallicum, important remedy. I told you a little bit of pathology. I told you a little bit of state of mind, and I want you to evolve this remedy, use it, and write back to me what you think about it, and stay strong.